record some video. All the other little birds are gone. If you can hear me, this is the intersection of PCH at the entrance to the Malibu Lagoon. That fire that we've had here recently that displaced the wonderful Dick Van Dyke was all the way through here. It smells like smoke really bad. Thank you to the firefighters and everybody. They save us every single time. The devastation coming through here. I feel bad coming out to shoot at Malibu, but PCH is open. Anyway, gonna head in. Thank you to the firefighters. Gonna head in over here. And go get a couple of wildlife shots. JonnyPink. I'm going to stand off to the side over here. Behind me, I know it's going to be out of focus because of the way I have the camera set, and it's all in manual. And I'm filming on the R5 II just because, and it's in 8K again, just because. We'll see how long that lasts. I have my GoPro. This is the Malibu Lagoon. As I said earlier, the fire that we've had that burned all the way through here was devastating. The wonderful Dick Van Dyke, who showed him on the news being dislocated from his home, or I should say evacuated from his home. He's back, everybody's back. But the fire, the smell through here is really, really strong. If you've never smelled what fire smells like, it's terrible. Anyway, today I am out with Canon's, I don't know if this one will work as well. The R50 that I normally film on, which is in my bag, is geared more towards products. And I really, really like it when you go into the menu and you switch it to HDR. It's not the 12-bit, as I said, but the video from that is just so amazing. So I don't have that. This one is completely different. This is a pro-level body for video. But for me, it overheated. I don't see the overheat warning as of yet. It's really cold out here, too. But this is Canon's R10 and their 600 f11. This is by request, and the reason for that is I'm a firm believer that experience is better than the gear that you have. Someone with a lot of experience, a lot of passion, that really kind of knows how to control the light, especially with these new bodies, will get better results than someone who is brand new, goes out and buys the best stuff, and doesn't know how to use it. It'll help, but it's not going to get you great photos. Same with the video. You have to learn how to use all this stuff, and that comes with time and experience. So with this R10, it's an entry-level body. I think it's a bit more expensive than the R50, and tomorrow I'm going to go shoot Hummingbirds. I like those shots. I think that anything you use, if you know how to use it, it's just a tool. An artisan needs a tool. They need to know how to use it. Might look like crap, but man, they get great results with it. And so the person behind the camera is the photographer. That's the person controlling the tool. That's where a great photo comes from. Go get a couple shots out there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here today, but that was my big thing. Oh, and this is rented too. If you guys want to rent camera bodies, camera lenses, video gear, whatever it is, the company that I use, I'm not affiliated with them. It's not an affiliate link. It's Lens Rentals. I rent from them all the time. If you use the link I have down below, it gets you I think it's $25 off or something like that, and I get a credit for it, which is a couple of points that I can put towards another rental. I rent gear all the time because it's fun to use. I got confirmation the R1 is on the way and I'll have it next week, so I will be shooting that for about 2 weeks. There are tons of the snowy egrets out here. There's a blue heron that's just perched over there. The problem with a prime lens like this 600 f11 is you can't zoom out. Advantage to the 200 to 800 is you can zoom out. The 100 to 500, which is an L lens, that's the top of the line, you can zoom out. I will be shooting that tomorrow for Hummingbirds, this and the F11 tomorrow. I probably won't take the R50 because it's just too much stuff in my backpack, as I realize right now. The water's so high right now that it's all the way up over here. So I'm going to grab a couple of photos of these snowies. I'm going to head out. Settings will be auto ISO. Exposure compensation, especially for whitebirds, is going to be just a -0.3. It just took it down 1. If I need to, I will take it down even further. And if you're curious how I set my cameras up, on all these cameras, there's usually a button in the front, and that's what I set to control my exposure compensation so that I can adjust it as I want. For whitebirds, I'm trying not to blow out the highlights. On the back of the camera, there's usually one focus button, and that one I keep for single point or whatever section I choose. This one over here on my cameras, and I set up all my cameras that way, even if it's a rental, for eye tracking. And I go between those two buttons, and that's the way I do it on everything. And the shutter button just controls the shutter. Man, that guy already moved. It's like he's alive or something. All right, I'm gonna go get a couple pelicans, and I'll see you guys out on the sand. I might even pull out my anamorphic setup because I really like shooting that. It's a lot of fun. All right, I'm gonna wander down here and see if I can't get a little more eye level with them. I can't really see because the sun is reflecting off of the ocean back there. That's the Pacific Ocean. Perspective on your wildlife makes a huge difference. It really does. Again, this is the R10, very inexpensive body. This is a very inexpensive lens, and I have said it many times and I admit it fully that when the 800 f11 came out, I love 800 millimeters. I think it is a sweet spot. When that came out, I poo-pooed it. F11, that's terrible, oh gosh, garbage. Until I used it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It is one of my favorite lenses. This one I'm excited about because I have never used it, so thank you for suggesting this. Ruddy Turnstone. You don't have to spend gobs and gobs and gobs of money on photo gear. It's not, if you're just starting out, it's not going to make that big a difference. This is my personal opinion, so please don't leave me nasty hate comments down below, and if you do, well, that's cool. I'll just say thank you anyway. But my opinion, and this is just my opinion, that any camera can shoot landscapes. All you really need is a high dynamic range, and if you don't have that, then you can exposure bracket, you can focus stack, and you can still get amazing photos. Greatest landscape photos, Ansel Adams, right? Didn't have all this modern technology. Landscapes, you don't have a really dynamic subject that's constantly moving, whereas for wildlife, even an older DSLR, if you know what you're doing with the experience, you can get great shots. The film days, you were much more limited, but they still got great shots because they had a lot of experience. What we pay for with all this modern technology, what I think is the most important is the focus, right? Continual focus. That is the eye auto tracking. When I push the button that I've got set for that, it locks onto that eye and it just stays with it. And I love that. That's what I'm paying for. I would love all my cameras to have pre-capture. I would love them all not to have rolling shutter, but even that is a cool effect if you pick the right shots. I think it looks kind of cool sometimes, so I do use those shots. No pelicans out here today. That's not a seal, that's a surfer. Surf's not real big today, but we are at high tide. Don't want to get sand in their rental. I'll make sure I clean it out really well before I send it back. All my gear has sand in it. One thing about Canon, and I think Sony does the same thing, but I know for sure Canon because that's what I shoot and that's what I'm most familiar with. What I really like about it is that each new body that comes out, the auto tracking is better than it was before. So this, I like my R50. I think that is absolutely phenomenal, and that's why I use it for video, and it's really inexpensive, and you can get some amazing photos with that. You pair it with the 100 to 400, man, you're set. Because the effective reach of this, any full frame lens that you have, multiply it times the crop of the body. In Canon's case, it's 1.6, so that gives me an effective 960 millimeters of reach because you're taking this full image and you're just paring it down. I don't shoot full frame cameras in crop, I will just crop in after, and even on a crop sensor body, man, that old wives' tale, don't crop in, that's nonsense. I crop my stuff all the time, and as long as you have a good, clean, clear shot, then you're set. The other thing is, if you want to use some of the external software that we have, you can do that too and still get a great looking shot. It's going to look good for social media. When people used to say to me, hey, you know, I get that same effect with my phone. No, you don't. Let's print a poster. Let's really blow up. Let's pixel peep and see whose looks better. Part of it's experience. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Go out, have fun. If you're new to it, man, just learn how to use that body. I know that coming out here, even with this little $800 body or my $500 R5 and this little $400 lens or another $400 lens, I'm gonna come home with some photos that I really like. So if I come out with the best, like the R5 II or the R3, I may still come home with crap, but I got out and I had a good time. The gear doesn't make the photographer makes the tools work for them to get what they want. JonnyPink, man, thank you for letting me share with you guys. I really do appreciate it. We have this beach to ourselves. There's a couple of surfers. There's one other photographer down there. Santi's sitting over there. And I think I'm gonna go lay down and see if I can't get a couple more of these little shorebirds through here. So thank you again. Give it a thumbs up. Leave me a heart. If you made it this far, leave me a heart. Let me know you made it. Just drop something in the comment, thumbs up, anything. I'm just out to have a good time, and I really do appreciate you guys letting me share with you. Thank you again. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like. I do stuff like this all the time because, well, it's what I enjoy doing. And that's it. R1 videos probably coming up. I'm gonna go shoot hummingbirds with this short distance. I'll tell you about that one in the next video. Thanks a lot, man. I'll see you guys. Still going? No, he's gonna keep going till he eats, yeah. Take off. I'm gonna head home now. I'm gonna hit Han tomorrow. Okay. Oh, well, you have fun with that. One last thing is, I think I said it earlier too, but I shoot an auto ISO, but I'm constantly watching it. I think I shot up to 5,000 ISO today. Aperture, any lens, well, this one you can't change it, but most lenses I shoot at the lowest aperture unless it's for video, and then I'm adjusting it. Do I want a deeper depth of field or do I want a shallower depth of field? With these F11s, the cool thing about it is there's no thinking involved. It's F11, you can't change it all day long. Shutter speed is what I'm really trying to watch. If I have a static bird, I will usually take my shutter speed down to bring that ISO down because they're working together. And I said earlier, I do use exposure compensation. Usually it's a button set in the front for that. Shutter speed, very important. Even though something is walking around, the longer you go, if there's a little bit of movement, it creates motion blur. It can look cool. I'm not real good at that, but it does look cool sometimes. I see some of the are they the ringbill? Anyway, I'm gonna go get some of those seagulls. Shutter speed, 1250 for me seems to be a good spot. Unless I'm shooting hummingbirds, then I really try and crank it up, 2,500 minimum, maybe 4,000 to really freeze everything in place. One bad thing about the entry-level cameras is the slower readout speed. You do get more of the rolling shutter. Not a big deal. Again, it can look really cool. You're the photographer, you're the artisan. Make that tool work for you. JonnyPink. I'll see you guys. Okay, and the thumbnail.